The boss room on floor 50 materialized around them in fragments of corrupted code, stone walls flickering between textures, ceiling height adjusting in stuttering increments, and the health bar of the wailing banshee pulsing irregularly at the far end of the chamber. Kirito's left hand tightened on Elucidator's grip as his HUD flashed a warning he'd never seen before. System stability, 73%. The raid party of 25 players, mix of Knights of the Blood, Army Guild members, and skilled independents, stood in formation, but something felt wrong. The air itself seemed to hum with interference. Everyone saw that system message, right? Asuna's voice cut through party chat, her rapier lambent light already drawn. That stability warning? First time in 2 years, Klein muttered, his katana reflecting the room's unstable lighting. Cardinal doesn't make mistakes. But Cardinal was making mistakes. Kirito watched texture patterns on the floor boss ripple and reset, watched aggro indicators flash between targets randomly, watched the room's geometry subtly shift. The wailing banshee, a massive spectral woman with bladed fingers and a scream that inflicted paralysis, wasn't moving. Just hovering at the room's center, her hollow eyes fixed on something the players couldn't see. "Heathcliff, orders?" Asuna called to the Knights of the Blood commander. The red-cloaked man's expression behind his cross-shaped shield remained unreadable. "Standard formation. We proceed?" Reality fractured. The boss room split down the middle with a sound like breaking glass, amplified 1,000 times. Digital static, raw, prismatic code that shouldn't exist in SAO's polished world erupted from a vertical tear in space itself. Kirito's HUD exploded with error messages, his UI flickering in and out of existence. Through the chaos, he saw the impossible. The rift wasn't rendering darkness or void. It was showing somewhere else. A sprawling landscape of data streams, floating islands, and geometric structures that defied Aincrad's architecture. And things were coming through. The first creature burst from the tear with a roar that made the banshee's wail sound like a whisper. Orange skin, blue stripes, dinosaur-like build, flames flickering around its jaws. It had no HP bar, no cursor indicator, no level display. Just a living, moving entity that the system refused to acknowledge. A second creature followed, wolf-like with blue and white fur and a horn protruding from its forehead. Then more, a beetle with electricity crackling across its shell, a plant-like being with grasping vines. Creatures of every size and shape pouring into the boss room like a dam had burst. "Unknown entities detected," Kayaba's voice boomed through the chamber, lacking its usual calm. "All players evacuate immediately." The wailing banshee screamed, finally moving, her aggro table apparently including the invading creatures. She dove toward the orange dinosaur thing, blades extended. The creature responded with a gout of flame that should have been impossible. No attack animation, no sword skill activation, just raw elemental power. The boss's HP bar dropped 15% in an instant. Chaos erupted. Half the raid party bolted for the door. The other half froze. Weapons raised against threats they couldn't analyze. Kirito's combat instincts overrode his shock. He activated Sonic Leap, closing distance with a creature charging toward Asuna. His blade connected, and he felt resistance, real physical pushback that SAO's coded monsters never provided. The creature, some kind of insect with mantis blades, staggered but didn't take visible damage. No HP bar meant no way to measure effectiveness. "They're ignoring us," someone shouted. "They're fighting the boss." It was true. Most of the invading creatures were focused on the wailing banshee or each other, establishing dominance or territory. A three-way battle had spontaneously erupted. SAO's boss, these unknown entities, and panicking players caught between. Kirito's mind raced through options. The door. They needed the door. But the rift was expanding, more creatures pouring through, and some were starting to notice the players. a massive beetle-locked compound eyes on Klein, electricity building around its carapace. "Klein, move!" Kirito launched himself between his friend and the creature as it discharged. The lightning wasn't a sword skill. It was environmental damage, unblockable, unmapped in the combat system. His HP dropped 40% instantly, pain receptors screaming despite the supposed limiters. He hit the ground rolling, systems reeling. Asuna was there instantly, her linear thrust driving into the beetle's side. The creature shrieked and turned on her, but Klein's Reaver cleaved into its shell from behind. Coordinated assault, proper tactics, but without HP bars, they were fighting blind. "System override failing," Kayaba's voice crackled. "Foreign code cannot be deleted, cannot be processed, cannot be..." The announcement cut off. Through the chaos, Kirito saw Heathcliff standing perfectly still, shield raised, watching everything with an expression he'd never seen on the unflappable commander's face. Genuine uncertainty. The rift pulsed once more, and something massive began emerging. Just a silhouette, but the size alone made the floor boss look insignificant. Whatever was coming through next, it would reshape everything about this death game. If you want to see more anime crossovers and universe collisions, smash that subscribe button and drop which anime worlds you'd want to see collide in the comments. Link start. Kirito grabbed Asuna's wrist as she prepared another thrust. "We're leaving. Now!" He pulled her toward the exit as the massive entity's roar shook the entire floor. Behind them, the wailing banshee's HP finally hit zero, deleted by combined assault from creatures that shouldn't exist. The boss room completion fanfare tried to play and stuttered into corrupted noise. They burst through the door into the safe corridor, half the raid party already there, hyperventilating, checking their menus obsessively. Some were crying. Others stared at nothing, processing what they'd witnessed. Klein slid through the door last, slamming it shut. For a moment, silence. Then the door began glowing with error textures, digital static seeping through the cracks. Whatever had just invaded Aincrad, it wasn't following SAO's rules. And in a world where the rules meant the difference between life and death, that changed everything. The emergency meeting in the Knights of the Blood headquarters on floor 55 felt more like a war council than a guild gathering. 50 players packed into the stone chamber. Faction leaders, frontliners, beta testers, anyone with authority or information. Kirito stood against the back wall, arms crossed, watching guild politics play out while his mind replayed that moment. The rift, the creatures, the system failing. Heathcliff commanded the room's attention from behind his podium, red cape draped over his shoulders like a general addressing troops. But even he looked unsettled. 17 minutes ago, Floor 50's boss room experienced a catastrophic system breach. Foreign entities entered Aincrad through what our analysts can only describe as a dimensional rupture. Cardinal System cannot identify, catalog, or remove these entities. How many? Asuna asked from her position as Vice Commander, all business despite having nearly died less than an hour ago. Initial count, 47 entities across multiple floors. They're spreading. Heathcliff gestured, and a holographic map of Aincrad materialized above the table. Red markers bloomed like infection across floors 48 through 52. They don't respawn when killed, but they also don't grant experience. They possess abilities outside SAO's combat parameters, and most critically, he paused, letting the weight settle. Kayaba himself cannot delete them. The room erupted. Shouts, arguments, panic barely contained by the thin veneer of guild discipline. If the game master couldn't control something in his own game, what did that mean for their survival? They're monsters! The Army Guild's commander, a broad-shouldered man named Kobats, slammed his fist on the table. Strong monsters, weird monsters, but monsters. We hunt them down before they kill more of us. Lost 3 good players in that boss room because of this. Actually, a quiet voice interrupted, and heads turned toward Argo, the information broker. The rat-whiskered woman stepped forward, her menu open and displaying something. They're not monsters, they're Digimon. Silence. Then nervous laughter from some players. Kobats's face reddened. This isn't a joke. Digital monsters, Argo continued unbothered, from a franchise that existed in the real world. Anime, games, toys. Some of us watched it as kids. She gestured to her menu, which displayed crude screenshots. Players had apparently been photographing the creatures during the chaos. That orange one with flames. Greymon? The wolf with horn? Garurumon? The beetle? Kuwagamon. I can identify at least 15 species from what footage we've gathered. Kirito's memory stirred. Distant recollections of Saturday morning TV, colorful monsters that evolved and fought alongside human partners. Fiction, entertainment, but now pouring into their prison with very real consequences. So what? Kobats growled. Knowing their names doesn't change anything. They're hostile, they're dangerous, and they're interfering with floor clearing. We eliminate them. Some aren't hostile, Klein spoke up, his normal humor replaced by serious concern. I saw smaller ones running away from the bigger ones. Looked terrified, honestly. And there was this little pink blob thing that was just floating there, not attacking anyone. Irrelevant, Heathcliff's voice cut through the discussion like a blade. Hostile or not, they represent an unprecedented threat to our survival. We know how to fight SAO's monsters. These things, Digimon, operate under unknown rules. Until we understand them, they're dangerous. He turned his crimson gaze on the gathered leaders. I'm issuing a guild-wide directive. Avoid engagement when possible, eliminate if threatened, and report all sightings immediately. We need data. Asuna shifted uncomfortably. Kirito noticed she always did that when she disagreed with an order but couldn't voice it publicly. Her strategic mind was probably already seeing the flaws. What if these creatures were intelligent? What if they could be reasoned with? What if killing them made things worse? There's something else, Argo added, her whisker marks crinkling as she frowned. The system can't process them, right? Can't target them, can't delete them, can't assign them HP bars or names. But I've been testing. She pulled out a teleport crystal. These don't work near them. The crystals activate, but the teleport fails. Something about their presence disrupts Cardinal's functionality. That sparked fresh panic. Teleport crystals were lifelines, emergency escapes from dangerous situations. If Digimon presence nullified them. How far is the disruption radius? Heathcliff demanded. Depends on the creature. Smaller ones, maybe 10 meters. That Greymon, whole boss room was a dead zone. Kirito's tactical mind processed implications. No teleports meant no escape. Corridor crystals, useless. Players would be trapped in dungeons with these things. The death game had just become exponentially more lethal. We need to understand what they want, Asuna said firmly. If they're from another world, system, then maybe they're as confused as we are. Killing everything that moves isn't strategy, it's panic. It's survival, Kobats shot back. This is a death game, or did you forget? One mistake and you're gone. We can't risk trying to make friends with unknowable variables. The argument spiraled, voices rising. Kirito watched Heathcliff's face, saw calculation behind those cold eyes. The man wasn't panicking. He was analyzing, as if this was a fascinating problem rather than an existential threat. That bothered Kirito more than the invasion itself. Heathcliff was supposed to be their greatest warrior, their leader. But sometimes he looked at situations with the detachment of someone conducting an experiment. A runner burst through the door, chest heaving. Floor 52 town, one of those things appeared in the central plaza. Small one, orange and round, just materialized. Players are surrounding it, don't know what to do. Klein was moving before the runner finished. If it's in town, immortal objects should protect it, right? Safe zone rules? Unless those rules are breaking too, Kirito muttered, but he was already following Klein toward the door. Behind them, guild leaders shouted orders, coordinating responses. But Kirito's instinct told him the real test wasn't in a conference room. It was wherever these creatures and players made first contact without violence driving the interaction. As they rushed through teleport gates toward floor 52, Kirito caught Asuna's eye. She nodded once, she'd meet them there. And in that moment, they both understood. Whatever these Digimon were, however they'd invaded Aincrad, the response in the next few hours would determine if this became a crisis or a catastrophe. The death game had new rules now. They'd have to learn them fast, or die trying. Floor 52's main plaza was a scene of barely controlled chaos. 200 players formed a wide circle around the town's central fountain, weapons drawn but not attacking. In the middle, perched on the fountain's edge, sat a creature roughly the size of a large dog. Orange skin, stubby limbs, small horn protrusions on its head, and the most distinctly un-SAO characteristic. It looked scared. Its large eyes darted between the surrounding players, small body trembling. Nobody move. A middle-aged player Kirito recognized as a merchant guild leader held up his hands. It appeared 3 minutes ago, just materialized, hasn't attacked anyone, hasn't moved from that spot. Kirito pushed through the crowd with Klein and Asuna flanking him. The creature's eyes locked onto them as they approached, and for a moment, Kirito swore he saw intelligence there. Not the scripted responses of SAO's NPCs, but genuine awareness, evaluation. The creature's mouth opened, and sound emerged. Not a roar or growl, but something that almost resembled words distorted through an unfamiliar vocal structure. Mun. The creature tried again, struggling. Koromon. The crowd gasped. Several players lowered weapons, others raised them higher. It's talking, Klein whispered. Did that thing just introduce itself? Koromon? Argo's voice came from somewhere in the crowd. In training level Digimon. Agumon's pre-evolution, harmless unless threatened. She pushed forward, menu open to what looked like hastily compiled notes. If the law holds true, these things can communicate. They're not mindless monsters. The Koromon, if that's what it was called, turned toward Argo's voice, recognition flickering in its eyes. Destined. It struggled with each syllable, as if speaking human language required immense effort. Partner. Where? Partner. Kirito's breath caught. Partner. That word carried weight in the Digimon franchise he barely remembered. Bonds between creatures and humans. But this was SAO, a death game where forming attachments got you killed, where trusting the wrong person meant a knife in your back and a real death. Everyone stay calm, Asuna commanded, her vice commander authority cutting through the murmurs. It's clearly lost and confused, same as we were when we first got trapped here. She took a careful step toward the fountain. The Koromon tracked her movement but didn't flee. Asuna, don't, Kirito started, but she was already kneeling 5 meters from the creature, keeping her rapier sheathed. Can you understand me? She asked gently. The Koromon nodded, a distinctly human gesture that looked bizarre on its round body. Where did you come from? Digital. World. Each word came with effort. Home. Portal. Broken. Many. Lost. Its eyes glistened with something that looked disturbingly like tears. Scared. Strange. Place. Strange humans. It's an NPC with advanced AI, someone in the crowd declared. Has to be. Kayaba's testing us with new content. Then why can't the system delete it? Another player shot back. Why'd the game master himself say he couldn't control them? Arguments erupted. Theories bounced between players. Secret event, glitch exploitation, hack from outside. But Kirito watched the Koromon's reactions to the shouting, saw it flinch at loud voices, saw genuine fear. NPCs didn't flinch. They followed programmed responses. This thing was reacting, feeling. Klein approached slowly, hand extended. "Hey there, little guy. I'm Klein. Used to watch your show back in the real world, if you're what I think you are." The Koromon's eyes widened. "Yeah, some of us know about Digimon. You're pretty far from home, huh?" The creature made a sound between a whimper and a chirp. Then, shockingly, it hopped off the fountain and approached Klein. The crowd tensed, hands tightening on weapons, but the Koromon simply pressed against Klein's leg, seeking comfort like a frightened animal. Klein looked down at the trembling creature, then up at Kirito with an expression of complete bewilderment. Guys? I think I just got adopted. Don't touch it." Kobats's voice boomed as the Army Guild leader shoved through the crowd. "That thing could be diseased, could explode, could be a trap. Get away from it now." "It's scared," Klein said flatly, not moving. "It's lost, it's scared, and it's looking for someone to trust. That sound familiar to anyone?" His eyes swept the crowd. We all felt like this on day one, trapped in a world we don't understand. Knowing one wrong move means death. "This isn't a charity," Kobats growled. "It's not human. It's not even supposed to exist here. Every second we waste on this thing is a second we're not clearing floors." "It called us Digi-destined," Argo interjected, still taking notes. In the franchise, that's what they called the kids partnered with Digimon. Partners who fought together, protected each other, made each other stronger. She looked up from her menu. What if that's why they're here? What if they're looking for partners? The implications hit like a physical blow. Partnership in a death game where alliances were fragile and betrayal common. Where caring about someone meant having a vulnerability enemies could exploit. Where watching a partner die could break you mentally. But also, partnership in a world where survival required cooperation. Where the frontliners only succeeded through coordinated tactics. Where Klein's Furin Guild thrived on bonds of friendship despite the danger. It doesn't matter what they're looking for. Heathcliff's voice cut through the discussion as the Kobe commander arrived with a full squad. He assessed the situation in seconds, eyes moving from Koromon to Klein to the crowd. "What matters is whether they help or hinder our escape. We have 95 floors to clear. These creatures complicate that objective." "Or," Asuna said carefully, "they provide new capabilities. We can't process them through standard combat analysis, but that works both ways. What if they can do things we can't? What if partnership makes us stronger, not weaker?" Heathcliff's expression remained unreadable. "An optimistic theory, Vice Commander, but theories don't prevent deaths. We need..." The Koromon suddenly jerked away from Klein, eyes locked on something in the sky. A sound filled the plaza, distant at first, then growing rapidly. A roar that made the air vibrate. Players looked up to see something massive descending toward the town, wings spread wide, scales glinting crimson in Aincrad's perpetual sunset. The system tried to render a cursor over it and failed. Tried to display a name and showed only error text. But Argo's voice, tight with recognition and fear, supplied the identification. Dividrimon, champion level, virus attribute, extremely hostile. The massive dragon-like Digimon crashed into the plaza's far end, scattering players like leaves. Its eyes, multiple sets, wild and burning, fixed on the Koromon with predatory hunger. The small creature made a terrified noise and tried to hide behind Klein. Safe zone or not, immortal objects or not, the Dividrimon opened its maw and unleashed a stream of dark energy that tore through the fountain like it was paper. So much for sanctuary. Kirito's body moved on pure reflex, sonic leap, activating before his conscious mind registered the threat. He collided with Klein and the Koromon, tackling them sideways as Davidramon's dark energy blast carved a molten trench through the plaza's stone. The attack defied SAO's rules. No sword skill activation, no damage calculation, just raw destructive force that treated the safe zone's protections like suggestions rather than laws. Players scattered in all directions. The immortal object code that prevented damage in towns flickered and failed around the Davidramon like a broken shield. Kirito rolled to his feet, both swords drawn. Elucidator in right hand, Dark Repulsor in left. His unique skill, Dual Blades, flared to life, but facing a creature the size of a house made him feel like he was bringing knives to a tank battle. "It's not supposed to work like this," someone screamed. "Safe zones are absolute." "Tell that to the giant murder dragon," Klein shouted back, katana already singing through the air toward Davidramon's leg. The blade connected, and Klein's face went pale. "No damage markers. I can't tell if I'm hurting it." Asuna's linear thrust struck like lightning, her rapier finding gaps in the Davidramon's scales. The creature shrieked, pain or anger, impossible to tell, and swiped at her with claws that carved furrows in the plaza's cobblestones. She danced backward, movement poetry, but Kirito saw her expression, focused, calculating, and underneath, frightened. They were fighting blind, every attack a gamble. The Koromon pressed against Klein's legs, trembling but making small sounds, not words, but something else. A pattern. And to Kirito's shock, orange light began gathering around the small creature, pulsing in rhythm with its vocalizations. "It's trying to digivolve." Argo's shout came from behind an overturned merchant stall. "It needs a partner's emotional support. Klein, it's bonding to you." "What do I do?" Klein parried a debris chunk knocked loose by Davidramon's thrashing, barely maintaining his stance. "Believe in it. The franchise works on bonds and emotions. Think about wanting to protect it." "That's insane." But Klein's face hardened with determination. The man who'd stayed loyal to his friends on day one despite the chaos, who'd never abandoned his guild despite offers from top-tier organizations who valued bonds over power. He dropped to one knee beside the Koromon. "All right, little guy, let's see what you've got." Light exploded from the small creature. Kirito's HUD flashed warnings about unknown energy signatures, particle effects that existed outside the graphics engine's parameters. The Koromon's form stretched, expanded, restructured. When the brilliance faded, a bipedal orange dinosaur stood there, flame flickering around its mouth, horn gleaming, and, most importantly, sizing up the Davidramon with focused intelligence rather than prey animal fear. Agumon, the newly evolved Digimon, spoke, voice clearer and deeper. "Champion level. And you?" It locked eyes with Klein. "Are my partner now." Klein grinned despite the absurdity. "Works for me. Let's wreck this thing." What followed wasn't SAO combat. Agumon launched forward with speed that ignored animation limitations, claws raking across Davidramon's flank while Klein coordinated from the opposite side, his katana finding joints and weak points. No HP bars meant they fought on instinct and observation, looking for flinches, listening for pain responses, watching for movement restrictions that indicated injury. Kirito adapted fast. He flanked right while Asuna took left, their practiced coordination extending to include the Agumon-Klein partnership. Horizontal square activated, 4-hit sword skill, and Kirito felt his blades bite deeper into destabilized scales where Agumon's flames had softened them. Asuna's flashing penetrator followed immediately, a perfect switch combo. Heathcliff joined with his shield raised, blocking a tail swipe that would have killed 3 players. Behind his cross-shaped defense, his eyes tracked everything: Digimon evolution, combat adaptation, system breakdown. Even now in mortal danger, he looked like he was taking notes. "Pepper, breathe." Agumon's shout preceded a fireball significantly larger than his small frame suggested possible. The flames struck Davidramon's center mass, and the virus Digimon staggered. Real damage. Visible effect. The crowd of watching players erupted in shocked exclamations. "Everyone with range attacks, now!" Kobats commanded, finally coordinating rather than arguing. Arrows flew, throwing picks sailed, spells launched, anything players had to contribute. Most bounced off scales, but quantity had quality all its own. Death by 1,000 cuts, except none of them could see the cut count. Davidramon roared, wing beats creating hurricane force that scattered lighter players. It focused on the Agumon with pure hatred, recognizing the greatest threat. Its jaws opened wide, energy building for what looked like a finishing blow. Klein threw himself between his partner and the attack. "Switch!" The SAO mechanic activated on instinct, pulling aggro, and Klein's HP bar plummeted as dark energy washed over him. 70% gone in a heartbeat. He collapsed, health critical. "Klein!" Agumon's voice carried raw emotion, and orange light flared again. Evolution hadn't ended. It was just beginning. The champion-level Digimon erupted with power, form expanding once more, growing larger, more armored, more dangerous. When the light cleared, a massive orange dinosaur with chrome metal plating and mechanical enhancements stood over Klein's fallen form. "Metal Greymon," it announced, voice now resonating with digital distortion. "Ultimate level." Twin cannons extended from its chest, energy building. "You hurt my partner." What followed wasn't a fight, it was an execution. Metal Greymon's missiles, physical strength and sheer presence overwhelmed the Davidramon. The virus, Digimon, tried to flee, wings beating desperately, but Metal Greymon's claws caught it mid-flight and drove it into the plaza's stone with terminal force. When the Davidramon stopped moving, it didn't shatter into polygons like an SAO monster. It disintegrated into particles of light that dispersed into the air. Data returning to source, a fundamentally different death than anything in this game. Metal Greymon stood there breathing heavily, then turned to Klein. The gruff swordsman was already being treated by players with healing crystals. HP slowly rising from critical, the massive Digimon's form rippled, shrinking back down to Agumon's size, clearly exhausted. "You okay?" Agumon asked quietly, pressing close to Klein. Klein laughed weakly. "Been better, but we won, right? We actually won." He looked at the small dinosaur with something like wonder. "Partner, Agumon confirmed. Kirito sheathed his swords, mind racing. One small Digimon had evolved twice in minutes, from helpless to champion to ultimate, driven by emotional bonds and necessity. The power scaling was exponential, completely outside SAO's careful level progression. And it had happened because Klein, in his moment of need, had someone who cared enough to transcend limitations. The implications were staggering, terrifying, and possibly the key to everything. Heathcliff approached, studying the Agumon with clinical interest. Remarkable. Evolution triggered by emotional stimulus and partnership bonds. Combat effectiveness exponentially greater than SAO's standard progression models. He looked at Klein. "You've just become the most valuable asset in Aincrad. Every guild will want to understand how this works." "He's not an asset," Asuna said firmly. "And neither is his partner. They're both people who just saved this town." Around them, players were picking themselves up, checking injuries and staring at Agumon with expressions ranging from fear to awe to desperate hope. Some had lost friends and family in this death game. Some had watched companions die to monsters, bosses, or other players. And now, impossibly, here was something offering partnership in a world designed to isolate them. But Kirito saw the darker expressions too. Players calculating, planning, wondering if they could capture a Digimon, force a bond, weaponize this new power for their own survival. The Digimon invasion wasn't just adding new monsters to fight. It was fracturing every political, social, and strategic assumption they'd built over 2 years of imprisonment. And somewhere above them, in whatever space he occupied, Kayaba Akihiko was watching this all unfold, unable to control it, unable to stop it. For the first time since the death game began, true chaos had entered his perfect world. The Emergency Guild Summit convened 8 hours after the Digimon incident, this time in neutral territory on floor 50. 3 major factions sat at the table. Knights of the Blood led by Heathcliff, the Army Guild with Kobats commanding, and a coalition of smaller guilds including Klein's Furin. Kirito attended as an independent consultant, Asuna beside him in her vice commander capacity. Against the wall, clearly uncomfortable with the attention, Klein stood with Agumon at his side. The little orange dinosaur had become the focal point of everyone's ambitions. "The proposal is simple," Kobats began, his scarred face set in grim determination. "We establish a Digimon acquisition task force. Systematic hunting of these creatures, capture when possible, elimination when necessary, and distribution of partners to frontline clearers. If Klein's partnership proves these things can digivolve and fight, then we use them to accelerate floor clearing. We could reach floor 100 in months instead of years." Kirito felt his jaw tighten. The Army Guild was already treating Digimon like loot drops to be farmed and distributed. "They're not items," Asuna said coldly. "You can't distribute living, thinking beings like equipment." "Can't we?" Kobats leaned forward. "In a death game, sentiment gets people killed. We've lost 4,000 players in 2 years. 4,000 real people, dead because we weren't strong enough, fast enough, smart enough. Now we have an opportunity to change that. I'd weaponize anything to save lives. Even if it means enslaving creatures that came here just as lost and confused as we were." Klein spoke up, his usual humor absent. "Agumon chose to partner with me. I didn't capture him, didn't coerce him. We bonded because we wanted to protect each other. You can't force that." "We can try," a smaller guild leader muttered. Several others nodded agreement. Heathcliff raised a hand, commanding instant silence. "The ethical debate is secondary to practical concerns. Based on Argo's intelligence gathering," he nodded to the information broker, "approximately 200 Digimon have entered Aincrad across 15 floors. They range from in-training level like Koromon to champion level like the Digimon. Attempts to capture or force partnerships have universally failed. The creatures either flee, fight back, or simply refuse to bond. So we eliminate them," Kobats said flatly. "If we can't use them, we remove the variable entirely." "And if they retaliate?" Asuna challenged. Klein's partner reached ultimate level, Metal Greymon. That's power equivalent to floor 75 bosses or higher. What happens when we attack their young and the adults respond? The room went quiet. No one wanted to imagine coordinated Digimon retaliation. Argo cleared her throat. "There's another factor. I've been tracking player responses to Digimon encounters. 23 players across multiple guilds have reported forming connections with various Digimon. No evolutions yet besides Klein, but there are bonds forming. Players who have chosen to protect Digimon rather than attack them, who've shared food, offered shelter, established communication. Traitors, someone muttered. Pragmatists, Argo countered. Or maybe just people who remember what it's like to be human. Point is, we're already fractured on this issue. Force a policy of elimination, and you'll spark guild wars. Some players see Digimon as threats, others see potential allies. A few, she glanced at Klein, see friends. Kirito had been silent, observing. Now he spoke. The system can't control them. Kayaba can't delete them. They follow different rules than anything in SAO. That makes them either our greatest asset or biggest threat, depending entirely on how we treat them. He met Heathcliff's crimson gaze. We need a policy that doesn't force the issue. Let players choose whether to seek partnerships, but establish guidelines for those who do. What kind of guidelines? Heathcliff asked, genuine curiosity in his tone. First, no forced bonds. Digimon that want to partner will make it known. Second, partners count as party members for loot distribution and strategy planning. Third, attacking another player's Digimon partner counts as assault under the monument rules. And fourth, Kirito's voice hardened. Anyone who tries to capture or abuse a Digimon faces the same consequences as an orange player. You're proposing we grant them rights, Kobat said incredulously. Monsters. You want to give monsters legal protection. They're not monsters, Klein interjected. Agumon speaks, thinks, makes choices. He worries about me when I take damage. He jokes, badly, but still. He's a person, just not human. Agumon nodded emphatically. Human partners. Digital world and human world always connected. We seek digi-destined who share our values. Courage, friendship, love, knowledge. He struggled with the words, clearly reciting something memorized. Reliability, sincerity, hope, light. These bonds make both stronger. Crest attributes, Argo supplied. In the franchise, each Digidestined embodied a specific virtue that resonated with their partner. It's why forcing bonds won't work. The connection has to be genuine, based on compatible values. Asuna's eyes lit with understanding. So it's self-selecting. Players who embody those traits naturally attract compatible Digimon, which means the partnerships we do form will be stable, powerful, and built on genuine trust. She looked at Heathcliff. That's better than any recruitment policy we could design. The Ko-B commander tapped his fingers on the table, processing. Around him, guild leaders whispered among themselves, calculating. Kirito could see the mental math. If only certain players could form bonds, then those players became either invaluable assets or dangerous rivals. Political maneuvering was already beginning. I have concerns, Heathcliff finally said. Klein's Agumon reached ultimate level during extreme emotional duress, protecting his partner from lethal damage. That suggests the bond creates exploitable vulnerabilities. An enemy targeting Klein specifically could force Digivolution as a tactical advantage, or conversely, could eliminate the partner to devastate the player psychologically. Klein's face paled. He hadn't considered that angle. Agumon moved closer to his leg protectively. Every strength is a weakness if you squint hard enough, Kirito countered. Solo players are vulnerable to isolation. Guild members have hostages in their teammates. Partnerships just add another dynamic to manage. But the power potential, he gestured to Agumon, could be the difference between clearing floor 75 and dying there. Or it could be what gets us all killed. Kobats stood abruptly. The Army Guild's position is clear. Digimon are a threat to be managed and eliminated when they interfere with clearing. We won't stop players from forming partnerships, but we won't protect those partnerships either. If your Digimon gets in the way of progress, expect consequences. Several smaller guild leaders nodded agreement. Others looked uncertain. The summit was fracturing in real time, factions forming around ideological lines. Pragmatists who saw Digimon as tools, humanitarians who saw them as refugees, and opportunists who saw profit. Heathcliff observed it all with that same calculating detachment. This meeting is adjourned. Knights of the Blood's official policy. Partnerships are permitted but not encouraged. Members who form bonds do so at their own discretion. We will not actively hunt Digimon, but neither will we divert resources to protect them. Neutral stance? Coward's stance, Kobat spat, storming out with his guild members. As the room emptied, Kirito caught Heathcliff's eye. The man's expression was unreadable, but something in his gaze suggested satisfaction. As if the chaos, the fracturing, the uncertainty, all of it confirmed something he'd suspected. He's enjoying this, Asuna murmured as they left. Heathcliff actually seems pleased by the disruption. He's always been strange about challenges, Kirito replied. But privately, he wondered. Kayaba had created a perfect death game, a controlled experiment in human survival, and now something outside his control had invaded. Was he scrambling to regain authority, or was he fascinated by the variables he couldn't predict? Klein caught up to them in the corridor, Agumon trotting alongside. Well, that went great. Got turned into a political football and threatened by multiple guilds. Standard Tuesday in SAO. You're going to be a target, Kirito said seriously. Everyone wants to understand how partnership works. Some will approach peacefully, others. He let the implication hang. Let them try, Agumon growled, small puffs of smoke escaping his nostrils. Anyone threatens Klein. I digivolve again. Protect partner. Klein scratched the Digimon's head affectionately, earning a pleased sound. Guess I'm not solo anymore. Never was good at the lone wolf thing anyway. He grinned at Kirito. Speaking of which, saw a little pink blob following you earlier. Think you might have an admirer? Kirito froze. What? During the summit. Kept peeking around corners, watching you specifically. Looked like Koromon maybe, but pink instead of orange. Before Kirito could respond, a small voice echoed from the shadows behind them. Kirito? That name? You, strong warrior? Good heart? A small, round pink creature with large ears floated cautiously into view. I am Piyomon, seeking partner, seeking digidestined with courage, kindness, seeking you? Asuna's eyes went wide. Agumon perked up with recognition. Klein's grin became absolutely shit-eating. And Kirito, the lone wolf, the solo player who'd survived 2 years by trusting no one and keeping everyone at arm's length, stared at the small, hopeful Digimon and felt his carefully constructed walls begin to crack. Oh no, he whispered. Oh yes, Klein crowed. The partnership system wasn't just changing the death game, it was changing them, and there was no going back. Kirito stared at the small pink Digimon floating at eye level, her large eyes reflecting genuine hope and nervousness. Piyomon, he recognized the name from distant childhood memories. A bird-type Digimon, partner to one of the original Digidestined. And now she was here, asking him for partnership in a world where caring about anyone was a liability. I don't do partners, Kirito said, more harshly than intended. I work alone. It's safer that way. Piyomon's expression fell, but she didn't flee. Saw you fight. Saw you protect friends even when you say you're alone. Courage and kindness. Not same as Klein's friendship, but still strong. Still real. Her broken sentences came with effort, like she was still learning human speech. Digital world. Breaking. Many Digimon lost. Need partners to be strong. To survive. Like you survive. She's got a point, Klein said unhelpfully. You're basically the poster child for refuses to admit he cares about people, which is exactly why you're actually perfect for a partner. Asuna nodded. You protect everyone while pretending you don't. That's courage, Kirito, even if you won't call it that. Kirito wanted to argue, to explain that his isolation was strategic, that emotional distance prevented the crippling pain when people inevitably died. The moonlit black cats flashed through his memory. Faces he'd failed to save, friends who'd trusted him and paid the ultimate price. He couldn't do that again. Couldn't watch another partner. Scared, Piyomon said softly. You're scared. Understand. Scared too. But together, maybe less scared. The simple honesty broke through his defenses. Kirito sighed, running a hand through his black hair. If we do this, and I'm not saying we are, you need to understand something. This is a death game. Players die here and they're gone forever. Real death. If you partner with me, you'll be in constant danger. I can't guarantee I'll protect you. I can barely keep myself alive. Then we protect each other, Piyomon replied immediately. That's what partners do. Klein watched the exchange with a knowing grin. Just say yes, man. Fighting it just makes it more awkward. Kirito looked at Asuna, seeking what? Permission, validation. She smiled gently. You've been alone for so long. Maybe it's time to let someone in. Besides, her strategic mind clearly working. If Digimon partnerships are going to become widespread, we need frontliners who understand the mechanics. You're the best analyst we have. That was true. And if he was honest with himself, watching Klein and Agumon coordinate in combat had sparked tactical possibilities he couldn't ignore. Two minds, different capabilities, synchronized strategies. The potential was enormous, but so was the risk. Okay, Kirito said finally, meeting Piyomon's eyes. We'll try. But we do this smart. No unnecessary risks, no reckless evolution attempts. We learn how this works before we bet our lives on it. Piyomon's entire body lit up. Literally, a soft pink glow emanating from her. She darted forward and pressed against his chest, the digital warmth somehow translating through SAO's sensory feedback. Partner will not disappoint, will be strong, will... A system notification appeared. Not SAO's standard blue, but a glitching rainbow of corrupted colors. Foreign entity bond detected. Attempting to process. Process failed. External partnership established. Warning, system stability compromised. Partner status, Piyomon, evolution potential, monitored. Emotional synchronization, active. Kirito's HUD flickered with new information. A sidebar appeared showing Piyomon's status, though it was filled with error messages and unknown variables. No HP bar, no level, just a vague condition indicator showing she was healthy and emotionally stable. A new menu option labeled Partner Link appeared, but was grayed out with insufficient data displayed. The system's trying to integrate you, Kirito observed, studying the glitching interface. Can't fully process Digimon, but it's creating workarounds. Adaptive programming. He looked at Klein. Does your interface show Agumon's status? Klein opened his menu and Kirito saw similar corruption. Yeah, but it's mostly guesswork. I can feel when he's tired or hurt through the bond, but the numbers don't make sense. It's like intuitive rather than calculated. Emotional data instead of numerical, Asuna mused. The system can't quantify feelings, so it's creating approximations. That's actually fascinating from a programming perspective. Also terrifying, Kirito added. If Cardinal can't properly track Digimon, it can't predict or balance their impact on combat. We're operating completely outside the game's intended parameters. Agumon perked up. Practice? Should practice. Partners need to learn coordination. Fighting together different than fighting alone. He's right, Klein agreed. We got lucky against Digimon, but we had no idea what we were doing. Need training, need to understand the limits. They relocated to Floor 52's outer fields, grinding territory for mid-level players, relatively safe with standard boar and wolf spawns. The area was abandoned now, most players avoiding the floor after the Digimon incident, perfect for experimenting without attracting attention. Kirito drew Elucidator and Dark Repulsor, settling into his dual-wielding stance. Piyomon floated beside him, small wings flapping. Against a group of 3 boar-type monsters, they looked comically mismatched. Piyomon, what combat abilities do you have at this level? Kirito asked. Magical fire attack. Small flames. Not very strong yet. She sounded apologetic. Rookie stage. Need to digivolve for real power. Then we work with what we have. I'll engage. You provide range support, watch for openings and don't take unnecessary risks. Standard party tactics, adapted for a flying partner. The first boar charged. Kirito's vertical sliced down, depleting 20% of its HP. Piyomon circled above and released small green flames that struck the creature's back. Damage was minimal, but it created an opening. Kirito's follow-up, Horizontal, finished it. Good timing, he acknowledged. Again, but faster. They engaged the second boar. This time, Piyomon's flames hit simultaneously with Kirito's sword skill, creating a makeshift combo. The synchronization felt right, natural, like his body was beginning to predict her movements instinctively. The third boar died in seconds. Kirito felt something warm in his chest. Not physical sensation, but emotional feedback. Satisfaction, pride. Not entirely his own feelings. The bond was allowing emotional sharing between partners. Klein and Agumon demonstrated their evolved coordination. The swordsman's katana strikes flowed seamlessly into Agumon's claw attacks, each covering the other's recovery frames. When Klein activated Reaver, Agumon's pepper breath launched simultaneously at a second target, effectively letting them engage multiple enemies without breaking formation. The bond creates tactical awareness, Kirito realized aloud. I can feel Piyomon's positioning without looking, know when she's preparing an attack. It's like having a sixth sense for my partner's actions. Makes switch combos way easier, Klein confirmed. Agumon and I can coordinate without verbal commands. The emotional link carries intent. Asuna observed everything, clearly filing tactical applications. If frontliners form partnerships, raid coordination becomes exponentially more complex, but also more effective. Imagine 25 players with partners, all synchronized. 50 combatants with perfect coordination, Kirito finished. Boss fights would fundamentally change. A distant roar interrupted their theorizing. All four of them, 2 humans, 2 Digimon, turned toward the sound. Something large was approaching through the forest, and the air was beginning to shimmer with the same digital static that preceded the original breach. More incoming, Klein said grimly, hand on his katana. And that sounds bigger than Digimon. We should retreat, Asuna started, but Piyomon suddenly flared with pink light. No, must protect. Partner in danger means... Her small form began expanding. The same evolution sequence Klein had witnessed. Kirito felt it through their bond. Determination, fear, desperate need to be strong enough. The light consumed Piyomon, and when it faded, a massive pink bird stood there, flames wreathing her body. Birdramon, she announced, voice deeper and resonating with power. Champion level, will protect partner. Kirito stared up at his now giant partner, feeling the emotional feedback intensify. Her fear had triggered evolution, not to save herself, but because she sensed his danger and refused to be helpless. The bond worked both ways. Her strength came from protecting him, just as his fighting protected her. Well, he said quietly, drawing his swords. Guess we're doing this. From the forest emerged something that made Digimon look small, a massive insect-like Digimon with blade arms and compound eyes that tracked all of them simultaneously. Its carapace gleamed with unnatural colors, virus-type corruption evident in every movement. Argo's voice crackled over distance party chat. She'd been monitoring from town. That's Agumon, champion level, highly aggressive. Kirito, you need to... We've got it, Kirito interrupted, surprising himself with the confidence. He looked at Klein. 2 partners, coordinated assault. Klein grinned, just like old times, except with giant firebird and dinosaur backup. Agumon and Birdramon exchanged glances, some unspoken Digimon communication passing between them. Then both nodded to their human partners. The Agumon charged, and for the first time since the death game began, Kirito fought not alone, but as part of something greater. The coordination came naturally. his swords finding weak points while Berdramon's meteor wing flames created openings. Klein's katana work synchronized with Agumon's close combat, 4 fighters moving as one coordinated unit. They won. When the Agumon disintegrated into light particles, Kirito stood there, breathing hard, staring at his giant bird partner, feeling her exhaustion and satisfaction through their bond. Berdramon shrank back to Piyomon, clearly drained. "Partner strong," she said sleepily. "We strong together." Kirito caught her as she floated down, cradling the small Digimon carefully. "Yeah," he admitted. "We are." Klein clapped him on the shoulder. "Welcome to the partnership club, buddy. Fair warning, it's emotionally devastating and tactically brilliant in equal measure." "Sounds about right," Kirito muttered. But he was smiling. Across Aincrad, the partnership revolution was beginning, and the death game would never be the same. The message came at 3 a.m. Aincrad Standard Time, jolting Kirito awake in his floor 52 in-room. Piyomon chirped sleepily from her perch on the windowsill as his menu flashed red. Emergency broadcast from the Monument of Life on floor 1. Urgent safe zone breach, floor 22, multiple casualties. All available players respond. Kirito was moving before his conscious mind fully processed the words. Floor 22, the main settlement for low-level players, hundreds of people who'd given up on clearing floors and just tried to survive day by day. If something was happening there. "Piyomon, we're moving." He equipped his coat and swords in seconds. The Digimon was instantly alert, following him out the door as he activated a teleport crystal. "Floor 22. The blue light faded, depositing them in chaos. Floor 22's main plaza, normally a peaceful haven where mid-tier players traded and low levels felt safe, was a war zone. Immortal object barriers flickered and failed throughout the town, sections of invulnerable architecture now crumbling under assault. 3 large Digimon, species Kirito didn't recognize, tore through the streets while dozens of smaller ones scattered in panic. Players fought desperately, but without HP bars to track, they were just causing collateral damage. "It's a herd," Argo's voice cut through proximity chat. The information broker was pressed against a damaged building, taking notes even in crisis. Wild Digimon fled from something bigger, stampeded into town. The large ones are Tyrannomon, champion level, highly territorial. They're not attacking players intentionally, just destroying everything in their path. A child's scream cut through the noise. Kirito's enhanced perception tracked it. A young player, maybe 13 real-world age, cornered by rubble as a Tyrannomon's tail swung toward him. The boy's HP was already in yellow from falling debris. Sonic Leap closed the distance. Kirito intercepted the tail with both swords crossed, the impact jarring his arms despite his level advantage. The Tyrannomon barely noticed him, too panicked to register individual threats. It kept moving, demolishing a crafting shop. "They're scared," Piyomon shouted, circling above. "Can feel it. They're running from something, not hunting, fleeing." "Fleeing from what?" Klein's voice. He'd arrived with Agumon, both already engaging a second Tyrannomon. As if in answer, the sky split open. The digital breach that had started in the Floor 50 boss room had spread, grown, evolved. Now it carved across Floor 22's artificial sky like a wound in reality, and from it descended something that made every player freeze in primal terror. Argo's voice shook. Skullgreymon. Ultimate level. Dark digivolution. Evolution triggered by negative emotions rather than positive bonds. It's massive. The creature was a nightmare of bone and decayed flesh. A dinosaur skeleton fused with rotting meat and cybernetic components. Its mere presence caused the cardinal system to glitch, textures failing, gravity fluctuating, immortal object code collapsing in waves. Where it stepped, safe zone protections died. The Tyrannomon took one look at Skull Greymon and fled toward the town's edge, crushing buildings in their panic. Smaller Digimon scattered like leaves. Even the wild creatures recognized apex predator when they saw it. Skull Greymon's hollow eyes swept across the plaza and fixed on the largest concentration of players. Its jaw opened, revealing a missile launcher embedded in its chest cavity, organic and mechanical, fused grotesquely. "Everyone scatter!" Heathcliff's voice boomed across town as the Co-B commander materialized with his elite guard. "Evacuate low levels to teleport range. Frontliners, establish defensive perimeter." The missile launched. Kirito's mind processed trajectory in milliseconds. Impact point would kill 50 players minimum. His body moved on instinct, Elucidator and Dark Repulsor crossing as he activated the Eclipse. His most powerful sword skill, 8 hits in rapid succession. The blade impacts detonated the missile prematurely, explosion washing over him and depleting 70% of his HP in one hit. Worth it. The players behind him survived. Piyomon dove toward him, pink light already flaring. "Partner hurt, must protect." Her evolution to Birdramon was instantaneous, fear and desperation driving it. She positioned herself between Kirito and Skull Greymon, flames building around her body. "No!" Kirito started, but Birdramon was already attacking. Meteor Wing struck Skull Greymon's skeletal frame, flames exploding across bone. The ultimate level Digimon didn't even flinch. Its claw swatted Birdramon aside like an insect, sending her crashing into a building. Kirito felt her pain through the bond, sharp, overwhelming. She didn't have HP bars, but he felt her condition plummet, felt her struggling to stay conscious. Rage flooded through him, not entirely his own emotion. The bond amplified everything. Klein and Agumon engaged from the opposite side, coordinated assault, trying to divide Skull Greymon's attention. Agumon's flames were more powerful than Birdramon's, but still barely scorched the corrupted bones. Skull Greymon's tail lashed out, catching Klein in the ribs and sending him flying. His HP dropped to 40%. "Greymon!" Agumon's roar of fury preceded another evolution. Orange light consumed him, form expanding to match his ultimate level. Metal Greymon. The chrome-armored dinosaur launched himself at Skull Greymon with missiles and claws, actually staggering the dark creature. But Metal Greymon was fighting his own dark reflection. Skull Greymon was what happened when evolution went wrong. When negative emotions corrupted the process, the two ultimate level Digimon clashed and the shockwaves collapsed buildings. "We can't fight this." Asuna had arrived with Co-B reinforcements, but even her tactical genius couldn't find an opening. "It's too strong, and it's actively destroying safe zone code. If it reaches the teleport plaza, we lose our only escape route." Heathcliff stood motionless, shield raised, watching Skull Greymon with that same calculating expression. Fascinating. The creature actively corrupts cardinal system architecture. It's not just ignoring the rules, it's rewriting them through its presence. He sounded almost admiring. "People are dying," Kirito shouted, downing a health potion to recover from the missile explosion. "We need a plan, not analysis." "The plan," Heathcliff said calmly, "is to determine if this can be killed at all or if we need to evacuate the entire floor." Around them, low-level players huddled in failing safe zones, watching their supposed protectors struggle against something outside the game's design. Some were crying, others just stared blankly, broken by yet another reminder that they had no control over their survival. Birdramon struggled back to her feet, wings trying to reach Kirito. Through their bond, he felt her determination warring with exhaustion. She wanted to digivolve further, to reach ultimate level like Agumon had. But something was blocking it. Insufficient emotional trigger, or maybe just not enough time to build that level of bond strength. "Partner," she gasped, shrinking back to Piyomon from energy depletion. "Sorry, not strong enough yet." Need more time. You're strong enough, Kirito said, catching her gently. We just need a different approach. His tactical mind raced through options. Can't match it in direct combat. Can't delete it through system commands. Can't escape while it's destroying the teleport plaza. So, what's left? Argo's voice crackled through proximity chat. Kirito, Skull Greymon isn't naturally occurring. Dark digivolutions happen when evolution is forced through fear, anger, or corruption, which means somewhere nearby. There's a partner who caused this, Kirito finished, scanning the chaos. Someone bonded with a Digimon and pushed it into dark evolution. Over there, Klein pointed toward the plaza's edge. A figure in orange player-killer marker, laughing coffin-gilled by the skull emblem, stood watching Skull Greymon's rampage with manic satisfaction. At his feet, a small black creature cowered, clearly terrified of what it had become. The orange player's name was visible. Kuradil. Kirito recognized him, former Kobe member, kicked out for excessive violence, rumored to have joined the player-killer guild. And now he'd found a Digimon partner and corrupted it. Finally got strong enough, Kuradil laughed. Ultimate level, baby. Nobody can stop me now. I'll kill every player who ever looked down on me, starting with... Klein's katana was at his throat before he finished. Call it off, now. Can't, Kuradil grinned. Dark Digivolution doesn't obey orders. It just destroys. Which is exactly what I wanted. The small black Digimon at his feet whimpered. Didn't want this. Partner angry, so scared, forced evolution. Wrong evolution, became monster. Can't stop. Metal Greymon and Skull Greymon's battle was leveling the plaza. Buildings collapsed, players scattered. Low levels died under falling debris despite frontliners' best efforts. Kirito's mind crystallized on a single truth. Dark digivolution came from corrupted emotions, which meant purification required opposite emotions, positive bonds, trust. But how do you reverse evolution that's already occurred? Piyomon stirred in his arms. No stories, ancient digital world legends. Dark evolution can be reversed if partner remembers original bond. They remember why they partnered at all. But Kuradil... She looked at the orange player with sad eyes. His heart already dark. Small Digimon partnered, hoping to change him. Failed. Then we give the Digimon a new choice, Kirito said. He approached the cowering creature, ignoring Kuradil's protests and Klein's sword at the man's throat. Knelt down to eye level with the small black Digimon. What's your name? Devimon, it whispered. Partnered with human who said he'd protect me. But he only wanted weapon, only wanted power, made me evolve wrong, made me become Skull Greymon. Can't control it. It's me, but not me, and it's killing everyone, and I don't want this, I don't want... Then stop it, Kirito said gently. You're still in there somewhere. The dark evolution is just a shell. You can choose differently. Can't. Too weak. Just rookie level without evolution. Then evolve correctly this time. Kirito extended his hand, and beside him, Piyomon added her own small wing. Partners help each other. You don't need Kuradil. Partner with us temporarily. Borrow our bond's strength. Fight yourself. Become what you were meant to be instead of what fear made you. Devimon stared at the offered hand, at Piyomon's encouraging expression. In the plaza, Skull Greymon roared, preparing another missile barrage that would kill dozens. Okay, Devimon whispered. Try. For real, partner. For good humans. Try. Light erupted, not the dark corruption of Skull Greymon's evolution, but pure white radiance. Devimon's form shifted, changed, grew. Not toward power, but toward purification. When the light faded, a white angel-like Digimon floated there, child-sized but radiating clean energy. Patamon, it announced quietly. Champion level. Light attribute. And I know what I have to do. The small angel flew toward Skull Greymon, growing brighter with each meter. Metal Greymon backed off, sensing something fundamental shifting. Piyomon positioned himself directly in front of the corrupted ultimate, so small he looked insignificant. "You're me," Piyomon said. "You're what I became when I was scared and angry and lost. But that's not who I am. That's not who I want to be." Skull Greymon's hollow eyes focused on the tiny angel. Some flicker of recognition passed through them. "I choose light," Piyomon said, and exploded into radiance. The purification wave washed over Skull Greymon, scouring away corruption, burning through Dark Evolution's twisted logic. The massive creature howled, not in pain, but in release. Its form began shrinking, bones dissolving, rot burning away in clean fire. It fought the change, Dark Digivolution trying to maintain itself, but Piyomon's light was relentless. When the brilliance faded, Skull Greymon was gone. In its place, an orange Agumon sat in the crater, looking confused and exhausted. Kirito's breath caught. Dark evolution reversed. The corrupted path undone. Proof that even the worst outcomes could be changed with the right approach. Kuradil screamed rage, but Klein's katana stayed firm at his throat. "You're done. Player killer charges, attempted mass murder, corruption of a partner bond. You're going to the monument for judgment." The orange player was dragged away by Kobe guards. Digimon, now Piyomon, floated back to Kirito and Piyomon, glowing softly. "Thank you. Gave me choice. Gave me hope. Don't want permanent partner now. Too scared of being used, but will help when needed. Will remember kind human and partner who saved me." The small angel disappeared into light particles, returning to wherever Digimon went when they chose not to stay. Around them, Floor 22 began recovery operations. 50 buildings destroyed, 17 players dead, crushed by debris, caught in crossfire, killed when safe zones failed. The monument would show their names grayed out forever. But hundreds more survived because frontliners had responded. Because partnerships had fought. Because even Dark Evolution could be reversed with enough hope. Asuna approached Kirito, her expression exhausted but determined. "We need new protocols. Safe zones aren't safe anymore when strong Digimon are nearby. We need to evacuate low levels to lower floors, establish defensive perimeters, coordinate with partnered players to..." "I know," Kirito said quietly, still holding Piyomon. "Everything's changed. We can't pretend the old rules work anymore." Klein joined them, Agumon back in rookie form and leaning against his leg tiredly. "At least we know Dark Evolution can be reversed. That's something. And we know orange players can corrupt partnerships," Asuna countered. "If Laughing Coffin gets more Digimon partners..." No one wanted to finish that thought. Heathcliff stood in the plaza's center, surrounded by destruction, looking more alive than Kirito had ever seen him. The unflappable commander's eyes gleamed with genuine excitement. "Magnificent," he murmured. "Absolutely magnificent. A system I cannot control, variables I cannot predict, and yet order emerging from chaos through bonds I never programmed." He looked directly at Kirito. "You're teaching me things about my own creation that I never knew existed." Something about that phrasing chilled Kirito to his core. But before he could process it, Piyomon tugged his sleeve. "More coming," she whispered. "Feel it through digital world connection. The breach is widening, stronger Digimon entering, and not all will be friendly." Across Aincrad, partnerships were forming. Power was growing, but so was danger. The death game had evolved, and they'd barely survived the tutorial. 3 days after the Floor 22 incident, Kirito sat in Agil's shop on Floor 50, studying reports Argo had compiled. The information broker's network had been working overtime, tracking Digimon sightings and partnership formations across Aincrad. The data was disturbing. 47 confirmed partnerships so far, Argo explained, her whisker marks twitching as she cross-referenced notes. Mix of guild members and independents. Majority are vaccine or data-type Digimon, relatively safe bonds based on compatible values. But there's a problem. She highlighted a section of her report. 15 orange players have also formed partnerships, all virus-type Digimon, and they're organizing. Klein swore. Agumon, perched on a barrel, looked worried. Asuna leaned forward, her tactical mind already processing implications. Organizing how? Laughing Coffins made it official policy. They're actively seeking virus Digimon, offering partnership to creatures whose nature aligns with chaos and survival. The Digimon don't understand human morality. They just know virus types are drawn to strong negative emotions. Fear, anger, desperation. Things orange players have in abundance. Kirito's jaw tightened. Piyomon, sitting on his shoulder, shifted uncomfortably. Virus not evil, she said quietly. Just different. Survive through aggression, adaptation, but in wrong hands. They become weapons, Asuna finished. Player killers with Digimon partners who can reach ultimate level. That's an existential threat to everyone. The shop door opened. A player Kirito didn't recognize entered. Late 20s, scarred face, orange cursor marking him as a criminal. Behind him, a small purple creature with yellow eyes followed, moving with predatory grace. Black Agumon, Argo identified quietly. Virus-type variant, champion-level potential. The orange player, name displayed as Johnny Black, grinned at the assembled group. Heard this was the place to find high-level info. Want to make a deal? We don't negotiate with player killers, Klein said flatly, hand moving toward his katana. Not here to fight, here to deliver a message. Johnny Black's smile widened. Laughing Coffin's got 20 Digimon partners now, all virus types, all loyal, all evolving fast. We're offering one-time amnesty to any orange players who don't join us. After that, he shrugged. POH says anyone who isn't with us is against us, partnered or not. POH, Kirito repeated. The leader of Laughing Coffin, the most dangerous player killer in SAO. He has a partner. Dark Tyrannomon, already reached ultimate level, Metal Tyrannomon. Guy's got rage issues that sync perfectly with virus-type evolution triggers. Johnny Black's expression turned serious. Point is, we're not random killers anymore. We're an organized force with power that keeps growing. Kobe can't stop us. Armies too scattered, and independence. He looked at Kirito. You're just targets waiting to be hunted. Black Agumon growled softly, the sound carrying predatory promise. Strong partner, we hunt together, become strongest. That a threat? Klein asked, Agumon stepping forward to match the virus Digimon's posture. Warning, Johnny Black corrected. POH wants the powerful players to know, stay neutral and we'll leave you alone. Interfere, and we demonstrate exactly what ultimate level virus Digimon can do. He turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and one more thing. We found the source of the breach, the main portal between digital world and SAO. Laughing Coffin controls it now. Every virus Digimon entering Aincrad, we get first contact, building an army, Kirito, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. He left. The shop fell silent. He's bluffing, Klein said without conviction. No, Argo replied, pulling up new data. My scouts confirmed it. Floor 48, deep dungeon territory, massive portal, constantly active. Laughing Coffins established a base around it, recruiting wild virus Digimon as they emerge. They're essentially running a partnership mill. Asuna stood abruptly. We need to tell Heathcliff. This is a guild-level threat. Maybe army level. We need coordinated response. Armies fractured, Argo interrupted. Half their leadership still wants to eliminate all Digimon, partners included. They'll attack our allies along with Laughing Coffin's forces. And Kobe, she glanced at Kirito. Heathcliff's been strange lately. seems more interested in observing the situation than addressing it. Kirito had noticed the Game Master, disguised as a player, was treating the Digimon invasion like a fascinating experiment rather than existential crisis, which raised questions Kirito didn't want to answer about Heathcliff's true priorities. "So what do we do?" Klein asked. "We can't let Laughing Coffin build an army of ultimate-level monsters, but we also can't fight them alone. We build our own alliance," Kirito said, mind already working through possibilities. "Not guild-based. Partnership-based. Every player with a Digimon partner, regardless of guild affiliation. We coordinate, we train together, we establish protocols for combat and evolution. If Laughing Coffin has organized virus types, we counter with organized vaccine and data types." Piyomon chirped agreement. "Partner right. Virus strong when angry, but vaccine strong when protecting. Data strong when balanced. Together, we match them." "That's a faction war waiting to happen," Asuna warned. "Partnered players versus non-partnered. Orange players with virus Digimon versus everyone else. It fractures Aincrad even further." "It's already fractured," Kirito countered. "We're just acknowledging reality. The question is whether we organize now while we have time, or wait until POH decides to demonstrate his metal Tyrannomon against a populated floor." The decision hung heavy. Form a formal alliance of partnered players, and they'd effectively split the frontliners. Ignore the threat, and Laughing Coffin would pick them off individually. Agil, who'd been silent until now, finally spoke. "Had a merchant come through yesterday, sold me something weird." He pulled out a device, small, rectangular, with a screen that looked nothing like SAO's interface design. Digimon dropped it, called it a Digivice, said it was for humans partnered with Digimon in the digital world. Helps focus evolution, strengthens bonds, monitors partner condition. Thing is, he activated it, and the screen showed Piyomon's status in clear detail. It actually works. Like the system's trying to adapt proper Digimon mechanics into SAO. Kirito took the device, studying it. The interface was intuitive, showing Piyomon's emotional state, fatigue level, evolution potential. Everything his glitchy SAO menu tried and failed to display. "How many of these exist?" Merchant said they're spawning randomly when partnerships form. Sometimes in player inventory, sometimes dropped by Digimon. It's inconsistent, like Cardinals trying to implement Digimon lore but can't quite figure out how. "If we can get DigiVCs to all partnered players," Asuna said thoughtfully, "we improve coordination dramatically. No more fighting blind, no more guessing partner condition. Tactical advantage. Also makes us targets," Klein pointed out. "Laughing Coffin sees us organizing. They hit us before we're ready." A system message interrupted their debate. Not standard SAO announcement, but the glitching rainbow text that indicated Digimon-related events. Digital world instability increasing. Portal expansion detected. Floors 35, 48, 52, 67. Mega-level entities approaching threshold. System integrity, 51%. Warning, critical cascade imminent. Piyomon gasped. Mega-level, perfect evolution, stronger than ultimate, stronger than anything in SAO. If mega-level Digimon enter before system stabilizes. Total collapse, Argo finished. Cardinal can barely handle ultimate level like Metal Greymon and Metal Tyrannomon. Mega level would overwhelm remaining system integrity. We're talking potential server crash. Which means everyone dies, Klein said quietly. Not just player characters. Actual brain death when the nerve gear fails to maintain life support. Kirito's mind raced. They needed to close the portals, stabilize the system, and somehow prevent mega-level Digimon from entering, while also dealing with Laughing Coffin's growing army. And normal floor clearing. And the fact that Kayaba himself seemed content to watch everything burn. We go to the main portal, he decided. Floor 48. Confront Laughing Coffin, close the breach, stop mega-level entry. If we wait, the choice gets made for us. That's suicide, Asuna said. POH has Metal Tyrannomon and 20 other partnered orange players. We'd be outnumbered and outmatched. Then we recruit, Kirito replied. Every partnered player who'll listen. Every guild that understands the threat. We explain. Either we work together to close the portal, or Aincrad itself collapses and we all die regardless. Assuming people believe us, Klein added. They'll believe, Argo said, showing her notes. System stability warnings are appearing more frequently. Players are noticing glitches, errors, crashes. The technically literate ones know something's fundamentally broken. They'll help, if only for self-preservation. Piyomon hopped onto Kirito's shoulder, determination radiating through their bond. We'll fight. We'll protect partner and Aincrad. We'll not let Mega Level destroy everything. The small Digimon's courage, coming from a creature barely 2 feet tall, somehow made the impossible seem manageable. All right, Kirito said. We have 3 days to recruit, organize, and plan. On the 4th day, we assault Floor 48's portal. Anyone with a Digimon partner who wants to help, we'll coordinate. Anyone without a partner but who'll support, we'll find roles. This is bigger than guilds or factions. This is survival. Klein stood, hand extended. Furin's in. All of us. Asuna hesitated, then nodded. I'll talk to Heathcliff. Try to get Kobe support, or at least non-interference. Argo grinned. I'll spread word through my network, and maybe dig up dirt on POH's weaknesses while I'm at it. Agul nodded. I'll work on getting more Digivices distributed, and supplies. You're going to need a lot of healing potions for this. Plans formed. Strategies developed. The alliance took shape not through official channels or guild politics, but through necessity and shared danger. Outside, across Aincrad, other partnered players received similar messages. Other partnerships strengthened. Other bonds deepened. The line was being drawn, those who'd stand together against the chaos and those who'd embrace it. In the shadows of Floor 48, POH stood before the massive swirling portal, his Metal Tyrannomon partner beside him. He watched new Digimon pour through, stronger, angrier, more corrupted, and he smiled. Let them come, he said softly. Let them bring their little alliance, their hope, their bonds. We'll show them what true power looks like, what happens when you embrace the darkness instead of fighting it. Metal Tyrannomon growled agreement, flames building in its mechanical jaws. The war for Aincrad's soul was about to begin, and only one vision would survive. The gathering point was Floor 55's wilderness border, neutral territory where no guild held advantage. 73 players assembled over 2 days, the largest coordinated operation since the Floor 50 boss raid. But this wasn't a normal raid. Every player here had a Digimon partner, and standing beside the humans were creatures ranging from tiny rookies to impressive champions. The air hummed with digital world energy, making SAO's rendering engine struggle to process so many foreign entities in proximity. Kirito surveyed the assembled force. Klein and Agumon anchored one flank. Furin Guild had brought 12 partnered members. Asuna stood opposite with 15 Kobe players who defied Heathcliff's observation-only order to join. The Army Guild sent no one. They were still debating whether to attack everyone or isolate themselves. Dozens of independents filled the gaps, players who'd formed partnerships and recognized the existential threat. Piyomon perched on Kirito's shoulder, having evolved to Birdramon and back twice during the journey here. She was getting faster at the transformation, the bond between them deepening with each battle. Listen up, Kirito called, his voice carrying across the assembled fighters. Floor 48's portal is generating system instability that could crash Aincrad entirely. Laughing Coffin controls the area with 20+ orange players, all with virus-type partners. Their leader, POH, has Metal Tyrannomon, ultimate level, extreme combat capability. Our objective isn't to defeat them, it's to reach the portal and close it. How do we close a dimensional breach? Someone called out. Working theory, Argo answered, stepping forward. The portal responds to digital world energy. Strong enough concentration of Digimon working in coordination should be able to seal it from this side. But we need time, at least 5 minutes of uninterrupted focus from every partnered Digimon here. 5 minutes, Klein repeated, against POH and Metal Tyrannomon, while also fighting 20 other partnered Orange players. That's impossible by normal standards, Kirito agreed. But we have something they don't. Bonds formed from trust instead of fear. Partners who fight to protect, not destroy. That's worth more than raw power. A Digimon in the crowd, Tentamon, partnered with a quiet programmer, spoke up. Vaccine and data types draw strength from positive emotions. The more we fight to protect our partners, the stronger we become. Virus types grow through destruction and fear. If we maintain our bonds under pressure, we have advantage. Theory's nice, a rough-voiced player muttered. But theory doesn't stop Metal Tyrannomon's missiles. No, Asuna said firmly. Tactics stop missiles. Coordination, communication, and refusing to break formation under pressure. We've cleared 75 floors of this death game through teamwork. This is just another boss raid with higher stakes. Kirito pulled up a holographic map of Floor 48's dungeon. Layout is simple. Long corridor from teleport gate to portal chamber, designed as a bottleneck. Laughing Coffin will have defensive positions prepared. Expect ambushes, traps, and focused fire on partnered players. Priority targets for them, anyone whose Digimon can reach ultimate level. He looked at Klein. That's you and me primarily. We'll draw their fire. Cool. I'm bait, Klein said cheerfully. Agumon head-butted him affectionately. 3-phase assault, Kirito continued. Phase 1, breach corridor defenses. Fast attackers with mobile Digimon create openings. Phase 2, secure portal chamber and establish perimeter. Defensive specialists hold the line while, Phase 3, all Digimon focus their energy on closing the breach. Humans keep them alive while they work. What about POH? Asuna asked. Kirito's expression hardened. POH is mine. The assembled force descended on Floor 48 in coordinated waves. Teleport crystals activated in sequence, materializing 73 players and their partners in the dungeon's entrance zone. The corridor ahead was wide enough for 4 players abreast, walls of dark stone carved with corrupted Digimon symbols that flickered with virus-type energy. They'd barely advanced 20 meters when the first ambush hit. Orange players dropped from hidden alcoves, their virus-type partners launching coordinated assaults. A Dividramon crashed into the formation's center, scattering players. Black Agumon variants attacked from multiple angles, their dark flames more corrosive than standard fire attacks. But the Alliance was ready. Klein and Agumon went on the offensive immediately. Pepper breath! The flames created a barrier, while Klein's katana work drove back 2 attackers. Asuna coordinated the right flank, her rapier and partnered Gatomon, a small cat Digimon, moving in perfect synchronization to control space. Kirito activated dual blades, both swords weaving defensive patterns as Piyomon evolved to Birdramon mid-flight. Her meteor wing provided aerial support, forcing enemies to split their attention. The bond between them had grown strong enough that evolution came naturally now, triggered by mutual understanding rather than desperate fear. Phase 1, advancing, Kirito called. The formation pushed forward, treating Laughing Coffin's ambushes like trash mob pulls before a boss. Digimon and players fought together, covering each other's weaknesses, exploiting coordinated combos that neither side could achieve alone. A massive Tyrannomon blocked the corridor's midpoint, champion level, virus corrupted and definitely partnered with an orange player hiding behind it. The creature's roar shook the walls, but 30 partnered fighters responded with overwhelming force. Lightning from Tentamon, ice from a partnered Gabumon, flames from multiple sources, the Tyrannomon fell, and its partner fled deeper into the dungeon. They breached the final corridor stretch and emerged into the portal chamber. It was massive, cathedral-sized, with the swirling dimensional breach dominating one wall. Digital world colors poured through, vivid blues, electric purples, data streams made visible. And standing before it, POH waited with his 20 remaining guild members and their virus-type partners. "Took you long enough," POH said, his voice carrying casual menace. He was older than most players, late 30s, scarred face, dead eyes that had stopped seeing other people as human long before the death game began. Beside him, Metal Tyrannomon towered, mechanical enhancements gleaming. "Thought you might bring more. 73, that's almost insulting." "We didn't come to fight you," Asuna called out. "We came to close the portal before mega-level Digimon crashed the entire system." POH laughed. "Oh, I'm counting on the system crashing. You know what happens when SAO goes down? Kayaba's grand experiment fails, the game master loses control, and in that chaos, maybe, just maybe, we find a way out that doesn't involve clearing 100 floors." He gestured to the portal. "Every mega-level Digimon that enters destabilizes the system further. Eventually, Cardinal collapses entirely, and we're free. Or we're dead," Kirito said. "Brain death when nerve gear life support fails. You're gambling 10,000 lives on a maybe." "I'm gambling my life," POH corrected. "Everyone else is just collateral. Now." Metal Tyrannomon stepped forward, missiles priming. "You've got 30 seconds to leave before we demonstrate what ultimate level really means. Starting with killing everyone you brought." The portal pulsed. Energy spiked, and through the breach, something massive began emerging. Argo's voice cracked with fear. "Mega level, it's here!" The creature that squeezed through the portal defied SAO's graphics engine. Reality fractured around it, textures failing, geometry warping. It was humanoid, angelic, wrapped in holy cloth that somehow looked corrupted. White robes stained with digital decay. 6 wings spread behind it, each feather a blade. Its face was obscured, but its presence felt wrong, like something divine twisted into mockery. "Piedmon," POH breathed, actual fear entering his voice for the first time. "Mega level, Dark Master series, that's not what I expected." Piedmon's eyes, if it had eyes behind that mask, swept across the chamber. It spoke in a voice that echoed from multiple dimensions simultaneously. Such interesting specimens, trapped humans and their digital companions, all struggling against inevitable deletion. Its hand raised, and 4 swords materialized from nothing. "Let's see how long you survive." Phase 2 evaporated. Everyone, Alliance and Laughing Coffin alike, scattered as Piedmon's swords launched. The attacks ignored HP calculations, ignored armor values, ignored game mechanics entirely. A sword pierced a Laughing Coffin member's chest, and the player's HP didn't just drop, it ceased to exist. The death was instant, permanent, and absolute. The player's name grayed out on the Monument of Life. His virus-type partner disintegrated into corrupted data. "Everyone focus on Piedmon," Kirito shouted, tactical priorities shifting instantly. "Mega level is the threat. Laughing Coffin, if you want to survive, help us." For once, POH didn't argue. Metal Tyrannomon turned its missiles on Piedmon, recognizing Apex Predator. The Dark Master laughed, actually laughed, and swatted the missiles aside like insects. Klein's Agumon evolved immediately, desperation triggering Metal Greymon form. The Chrome Dinosaur engaged Piedmon with everything it had, but Mega versus Ultimate was a mismatch. Piymon's swords carved through Metal Greymon's armor, forcing him to de-digivolve just to survive the damage. Birdramon attacked from above, flames washing over Piyomon. The Dark Master ignored it completely. Its hand gestured, and Birdramon plummeted, slamming into the ground hard enough to revert to Piyomon. Kirito felt her pain through their bond, felt her struggle to stay conscious. Rage flooded through him, pure, burning fury at seeing his partner hurt. And something in that emotion triggered a response. Piyomon began glowing again, but this time the light was different. Stronger. Hotter. The evolution wasn't stopping at champion level. Ultimate stage. Piyomon's voice echoed through the light. Garudamon. Vaccine type, justice and protection. When the brilliance faded, a massive bird woman warrior stood there. Human torso, bird legs, wings of pure flame. Garudamon radiated power that made even Piyomon pause, reassessing. Partner. Garudamon's voice was Piyomon's, but matured, strengthened by evolution. Our bond reached ultimate. Together, we fight. Kirito felt the connection intensify. Not just emotions now, but shared thought, shared determination. They moved as one entity, his sword skills coordinating perfectly with her aerial combat, each covering the other's openings. For the first time since the battle began, Piyomon actually took damage, but one ultimate wasn't enough. All champions, evolve if you can, Asuna commanded, her Gatomon already glowing. We need ultimate level firepower to match it. Across the chamber, bonds that had been forming for days suddenly crystallized under extreme pressure. Tentomon became Kabuterimon, Gabumon became Weregarurumon, a partnered Palmon reached Lilimon. 7 ultimate-level Digimon emerged, their combined presence finally stabilizing the system long enough to mount a real defense. POH's Metal Tyrannomon joined reluctantly, recognizing that pride meant nothing if they all died. 8 ultimate-level Digimon against 1 Mega. The odds were still terrible, but at least they were odds. The battle that followed tested every tactical skill Kirito had developed, coordinating 8 ultimate-level partners and their humans, while Piyomon carved through their formation with contemptuous ease. The Dark Master was toying with them, testing, evaluating, seeing how long they'd last. But in that testing, Kirito saw something crucial. Piyomon was standing directly in front of the portal, blocking it, and if they could force it back through... "Argo!" he shouted across combat chaos. "Can Digimon close the portal from the other side?" The information broker, hiding behind an overturned pillar, processed quickly. Theory, yes. Digital world natives would have better control of breach mechanics from their side. "Then we don't kill it," Kirito said. "Plan forming. We shove it back through and seal the door behind it." "That's insane," Klein protested, but Agumon, back in Metal Greymon form, caught the strategy immediately. "All ultimate level coordinate," Metal Greymon called. "Combined assault, drive it toward portal." What followed was the most precise coordinated attack SAO had ever seen. 8 ultimate Digimon and 70+ humans executed a tactical push that forced Piyomon backward, step by step. Garudamon's flames from above, Weregarurumon's ice from the sides, Kabuterimon's electricity providing area control, every attack designed not to kill, but to direct. Piyomon realized the strategy too late. Its back touched the portal's event horizon, and digital world energy began pulling at it, recognizing a native entity. Clever, the Dark Master admitted, but insufficient. Its wings spread, preparing to resist the pull. That's when POH did something unexpected. Metal Tyrannomon, still technically partnered with an orange player, still technically enemy combatant, fired its most powerful missile at point-blank range into Piyomon's chest. The mega-level Dark Master staggered backward into the portal, and the combined Digimon force pushed with everything they had. Piyomon fell through, its laughter echoing as it tumbled back into the digital world. "Now, close it!" Kirito commanded. Every Digimon in the chamber, Ultimate Champion, Rookie, focused their energy on the breach. Vaccine types, channeling protection, data types, providing stability, and even the virus types contributing their chaotic energy toward a single purpose. The portal fought back, digital world wanting to maintain the connection, but 73 partnerships working in perfect coordination was a force the breach couldn't resist. The portal collapsed with a sound like reality sighing in relief. Digital static dispersed. System stability indicators began climbing. Cardinal's errors cleared one by one as the foreign load disappeared. They'd done it. The chamber fell silent except for heavy breathing and the crackle of dissipating energy. Ultimate-level Digimon began de-digivolving, exhausted. Kirito looked at Garudamon as she returned to Piyomon form, caught her as she floated down tiredly. POH stood across the chamber, metal Tyrannomon shrinking back to standard Agumon beside him. The orange player's expression was unreadable. "Truce," he said finally. "For now, because dying here serves nobody." He turned and walked away, his remaining guild members following. They'd fought together for survival, but the ideological divide remained. Laughing, Coffin still existed. The threat hadn't ended. But for now, for this moment, they'd survived, and the system held. The aftermath of the Floor 48 portal closure rippled through Aincrad like a shockwave. System stability climbed back to 83%, the highest it had been since the initial breach. Cardinal's error messages decreased. Safe zones functioned properly again. For 48 hours, players across all floors celebrated what felt like a return to normal, or at least the Death Game's version of normal. But nothing was truly normal anymore. Kirito stood on Floor 55's observation deck, watching the artificial sunset paint Aincrad's lower floors in copper and gold. Piyomon perched beside him, small again, but the memory of her ultimate form, Garudamon, remained vivid in both their minds. The bond had deepened beyond anything he'd thought possible. She wasn't just a combat partner, she was friend, companion. Someone who knew his thoughts before he spoke them, who felt his emotions as her own, who'd fought through her limits because he was in danger. Thinking loud again, Piyomon chirped, nudging his arm with her small wing. "Feel your worry through bond." Kirito smiled despite himself. "Can't hide anything from you, can I?" "Nope, partner privilege." She settled more comfortably. "Worried about what comes next?" "Always." He pulled up his menu, checking reports Argo had sent. The partnership count had exploded after Floor 48. 217 confirmed bonds now, with more forming daily. The demonstration that ultimate-level coordination could defeat even mega-level threats had convinced skeptics that partnerships were viable. Guilds were developing Digimon integration protocols. The army had reluctantly acknowledged that partnered players were assets rather than threats. Even Heathcliff had issued a formal COBE policy supporting partnerships, though his personal fascination with the phenomenon still unsettled Kirito. But the dark side grew too. Laughing, Coffin had retreated, but they hadn't disbanded. POH's temporary alliance during the Piyomon fight was just that, temporary. His philosophy hadn't changed, system collapse as a path to freedom, regardless of casualties. And now, he had proof that mega-level Digimon existed and could be weaponized. 3 more portals detected, Kirito told Piyomon, sharing Argo's intel. Floors 12, 67, and 81, smaller than the Floor 48 breach, but still active. Cardinal's managing them for now, but if they expand, we close them, Piyomon said simply, like before. Together. The casualty reports from Floor 48 had been lighter than expected. 12 players lost, 8 Digimon partners permanently dispersed. Tragic, but considering they'd faced a mega-level Dark Master, it was close to miraculous. The monument on floor 1 showed their names, players who died fighting to save everyone else. Heroes in a game that rarely acknowledged heroism. Footsteps approached. Klein and Agumon joined them at the railing, the swordsman looking unusually serious. "Got word from Furin's scouts," Klein said. "Laughing Coffins regrouping on floor 81, near that new portal Argo mentioned. POH is already there, probably planning to weaponize whatever comes through next." "Of course he is," Kirito muttered. "Can't let a crisis go to waste." Agumon and Piyomon touched noses, a Digimon greeting they'd adopted. "Strong enemy," Agumon observed. "Metal Tyrannomon, very powerful. We match him in ultimate form, but barely. Which means we need to get stronger," Klein said. "Or smarter, preferably both." He looked at Kirito. "You've been analyzing the bond mechanics, right? Any insights on how to reach mega level?" Kirito had been studying exactly that. The Digimon lore suggested that mega evolution required something beyond standard emotional triggers, true understanding between partners, complete synchronization, and usually a catalyst moment of extreme significance. In the franchise, only a handful of partnerships reached mega consistently. "It's not just about wanting it," Kirito explained. "Ultimate evolution happens through strong emotion and necessity. Mega requires something deeper, complete trust, absolute unity of purpose. The partner and human have to be so synchronized they essentially become one being temporarily. So basically, we need to get even closer with our partners," Klein summarized. "More bonding, more trust, more fighting together until we move as one entity." More than that, Asuna's voice came from behind them. She'd arrived with Gatomon, her partner, after the small cat Digimon had sought her out following Floor 22's incident. Mega evolution in the lore required external catalysts too. Crests, special items, specific circumstances. We might not be able to reach it through bonds alone. Gatomon nodded, her tail swishing thoughtfully. Digital world has digi-eggs, crests, ancient artifacts that facilitate evolution. But in SAO, system not designed for this. Maybe bonds strong enough create own catalyst. It was a theory, untested, but possible. The partnerships themselves were rewriting SAO's rules in real time. Why couldn't they rewrite evolution mechanics too? A system message appeared, not glitching rainbow text, but standard blue SAO announcement. Floor 75 boss raid, scheduled in 72 hours. Coalition force, Kobu, Furin, partnered players. Alliance, objective the Gleam Eyes. Note, partnered Digimon authorized for raid participation. Gleam Eyes, Klein breathed. That's the big one. Two-handed sword requirement, massive AoE attacks, historically where multiple guilds get wiped, and now we're bringing Digimon partners into it? "We have to keep clearing floors," Asuna said firmly. "The portal crisis doesn't change our ultimate objective. Reach floor 100, defeat the final boss, escape this game. We've been trapped for 2 years. Every day we delay is another day people are dying in hospitals in the real world." She was right. The Digimon invasion had been a massive disruption, but it didn't change the fundamental reality. They were prisoners in a death game, and the only way out was through. Kirito looked at his partner. "What do you think? Ready for a boss raid?" Piyomon's eyes gleamed with determination. "Born ready. We'll reach ultimate form if needed. We'll protect partner and help everyone escape. This our mission too. Digital world friends trapped here just like humans. We want freedom too." That perspective shifted something in Kirito's understanding. The Digimon weren't just tools or allies. They were fellow prisoners, pulled into this death game through no fault of their own, trying to survive and protect the bonds they'd formed. Partnership wasn't one-sided. Both species were fighting for survival and freedom together. "All right," Kirito said, decision crystallizing. 72 hours to prepare. We train partnerships, coordinate with other guilds, and establish boss raid protocols that integrate Digimon combat. Klein, you coordinate with Furin on evolution triggers and timing. Asuna, work with Kobe on tactical formations that use aerial partners effectively. I'll brood and overanalyze while pretending you're just being strategic," Klein offered with a grin. "Develop contingency plans," Kirito corrected, but he was smiling. Someone has to think about what happens if things go wrong. "Things always go wrong," Agumon said cheerfully. "That's why we have partners. Fix wrong together." The simple optimism from a small orange dinosaur shouldn't have been reassuring, but somehow it was. They dispersed to prepare, each partnership heading to training grounds or coordination meetings. Kirito and Piyomon remained on the observation deck a while longer, watching Aincrad's artificial stars begin emerging as sunset faded to night. "Changed everything," Piyomon said softly. "Digital world touching SAO. We come through. Find partners. Now everything different." "Yeah," Kirito agreed. "Question is whether it's different in a good way, or if we've just made survival even harder." "Both," Piyomon replied with the blunt honesty that was her defining trait. "Harder because more complicated. Better because not alone anymore. You always fought alone, Kirito? Always protected others while keeping them distant. But now," she pressed against his side, "now you have someone who won't let you be alone, who will fight beside you no matter what, who'll evolve beyond limits because you're worth protecting." Kirito felt his throat tighten. 2 years in this death game had taught him that caring about people got them killed, that distance was safety, that the lone wolf survived when parties fell apart. But Piyomon and all the partnerships forming across Aincrad were teaching him something different. That maybe true strength came from bonds rather than isolation. That fighting together could accomplish what fighting alone never could. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for choosing me, for trusting me, for being my partner." "Thank you for accepting," Piyomon replied, "for letting wall down, for being brave enough to care again." Across Aincrad, similar conversations were happening. Klein and Agumon planning their next evolution, Asuna and Gatomon coordinating strategies. Hundreds of partnerships learning to trust, to coordinate, to become something greater than the sum of their parts. And in the shadows, other forces moved, laughing coffin, planning their next assault. New portals stabilizing, stronger Digimon preparing to enter. Kayaba watching everything with fascination, his grand experiment evolving in ways he'd never intended. The death game's final floors waiting with challenges designed for players alone, now facing players who'd never be alone again. The Floor 75 boss raid loomed. Beyond that, 25 floors of unknown danger. And somewhere at the top, Kayaba's throne room and the final confrontation that would determine everyone's fate. But for the first time since the death game began, Kirito didn't face it with resigned determination or grim pragmatism. He faced it with something unfamiliar and precious. Hope. Hope that came from bonds formed in desperation and tested in fire. Hope that partnerships could achieve what solo players never could. Hope that this strange fusion of two digital worlds might be exactly what they needed to win. Piyomon chirped a soft melody, some digital world song, haunting and beautiful. Kirito found himself humming along, the tune somehow familiar despite never having heard it before. The bond worked both ways, sharing not just combat awareness, but culture, memory, emotion. Gleam Eyes doesn't stand a chance. Klein's voice crackled over distance party chat. We've got dragons, angels, and warriors who've literally evolved through the power of friendship. That boss is going down. Don't get cocky, Asuna warned, but there was warmth in her voice. But yes, we've got this. Kirito looked down at Piyomon, at his partner who'd chosen him despite his isolation, who'd broken through walls he'd spent 2 years building, who'd proven that trust and bonds could survive even a death game. "Yeah," he said to his assembled friends, to his partner, to himself. "We do." The Digimon invasion of Sword Art Online had fundamentally transformed the death game. What began as a catastrophic system breach became a revolution in how players fought, survived, and connected with each other. Partnerships formed not through game mechanics, but through genuine bonds, courage, friendship, trust, forged in desperate circumstances. 75 floors stood between the players and freedom, but now they didn't face those challenges alone. Beside every partnered player stood a Digimon who'd chosen them, who'd fight beyond their limits, who'd prove that even in a world designed to isolate and kill, connection remained the greatest strength. Laughing coffins still plotted. New portals still opened. Mega-level threats still loomed, and Kayaba's endgame remained unknown. But Kirito, Klein, Asuna, and hundreds of others had learned something invaluable, that the line between solo survival and partnership strength wasn't weakness, it was evolution. The Gleam Eyes awaited. Beyond it, greater challenges, and at the very top, the truth about why 2 digital worlds had collided and what it meant for everyone trapped between them. But they would face it together. Human and Digimon, partner and partner, fighting not just to survive, but to prove that bonds forged in a death game were real enough to save them all. The war for Aincrad continued, but now they fought with hope. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.